Hi everyone, I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. I have Sumit with me. Hi Sumit, welcome on the channel. So Sumit will be delivering day 4 to you, and I hope you have gone through all the sessions so far, and you understood the basic concepts of networking and other things. And this week we'll be having 3 more sessions on cybersecurity, and few more things Sumit will be sharing with you. Okay, so once again, welcome, and over to you, Sumit.
Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome again on this Cybersecurity Bootcamp Day 4. Previously, we have discussed something about how network proceed, what network types is, how network created, how network will be arranged using topologies, different types of network. In uh, in this week, we will learn about some more concept about how IP address and MAC address will be assigned to you, and how will you check your IP address, how will you use your IP address, how network will use your IP address. And in this week, we also have some labs set up as well. So we have some practicals on day 5 or day 6. Today we will be discuss something more about network, the topics which remained skipped in the previous week. So let's start the today's session. So my name is Sumit Jain, and I will be conducting this cybersecurity boot camp. So those who are new, who are joining in this week, let me introduce myself. So I'm an ethical hacker and cybersecurity expert. Currently, I am working as a red team member on CINEC and Pentabug red team. Apart from that, I am working as a senior security specialist at GTRO network. I have experience of I have doing this thing from past 10 years. Previously, I'm a guest instructor at CDTS, Central Detective Training School, and right now I'm helping students delivering sessions, making content to help freshers and professionals to build their career on the cybersecurity domain and the other security related stream. So if you like our content, please subscribe, follow, and share. My channel name is Cybersecurity Zone, where you can find all the depth videos related to how to use tools, scripts, and other things. You can follow Sanjay Gupta Tech School as well, where I am conducting this cybersecurity boot camp for more than 8 weeks. You can follow me on these below platforms as well. I have mentioned all the links in the video description. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter as well, where I will be sharing cybersecurity related tips and how to test a application or network security, how to use tools, how to get certificates or some important links and network connections. So today we are learning about the transmission mode, a topic which will be need to explain. So we have 3 types of transmission mode. Basically, transmission mode is something how your network proceed your data, how you connected on your network. So we have 3 types of transmission mode. One is simplex mode, second is half duplex mode, and the third one is full duplex mode. So let's go to our whiteboard where we'll be understanding how these will. So basically, what is transmission mode? Transmission mode is something like which is your data is transmitted from one device to another device is known as transmission mode. So if I want to write down here, the way in which our data is transmitted from one device to another device is known as transmission mode. So transmission mode is also known as communication mode because we need to understand how your data is transmitted you among various devices we have. Like if you connected two computers, if you connected multiple computers, how your data is going to transmit from these devices, how data can be interchanged or exchanged among all the devices you connected in a network. So this transmission mode is also known as also communication mode as well. Each communication channel has basically a direction associated with, like you transfer the data one way, you transfer the data two way, or the data is transferred both ways. So these types of transmission mode we need to understand how these proceed. So we have three types of transmission mode. We divided into three categories. One is simplex mode. Simplex mode. So what is simplex mode? So simplex means the data is transmitted only in one direction. If we connected the two devices and data is transmitted only in one direction. So this type of transmission mode is called simplex mode. So if I make a diagram here, like we connected two devices, one is for user 1 and these devices user 2, and I have connected this device using a cable, any type of cable. The cable part we also understand, I discussed this in my previous videos. So if your data is transmitted only in one direction, if data is transmitted through one direction, like user one is transmitting some data and user 2 is receiving, this type of mode is called simplex mode. In simplex mode, the data is transmitted only in one direction. So the data flow in one direction and the communication is indirectional, because user 2 is also want to transfer some data. So user 2 have to wait before user one's transmitted data is complete, then user 2 will transfer you the data. Only a device can send data in a time but cannot receive it, or it can receive the data but cannot send the data. So the direction is only in one direction. Understood? So if I write down here, a device can only send the data but cannot receive it, or it can receive the data but cannot send the data. So this type of mode is known as simplex mode. So transmission mode is mainly require the two-way exchange of data. So the simplex mode is used in the business field, as in sales, that do not require any corresponding reply. So if a user 1 is not want to reply from the user 2, this type of mode will be used. But in the network field or in the popular communications, we need two type of exchange. So this type of transmission mode will not be used as much in the communication. So keyboard and monitors are the examples of the simplex mode, as the keyboard can only accept the data from the user, and monitor can only be used to display the data on the screen. So the main advantage of the simplex mode is that the full capacity of communication channel can be utilized during this transmission. Right? What are the disadvantages of this transmission media? Because the communication is unidirectional, so it has no intercommunication between devices. Like two devices at a time cannot exchange the data simultaneously. So we need another transmission mode that is called half duplex mode. So in simple duplex mode, only a user can send the data at a time, and the other user can only receive it, or the other user can only send the data, but user one can receive it. The data is sent in only one directional. If you want to send the data in two direction, we use another transmission mode that is called half duplex mode. Half duplex mode. In this mode, the data transmission in either direction or but not simultaneously. In this type of mode, we can send the data both ways but not simultaneously. The other user have to wait before the first user will send out the data. Then he can, or the device can send the data from the another direction. The directional will be in both ways but not simultaneously. We cannot send the data or we cannot exchange the data simultaneously, but we can transmission the data in both ways. So half duplex mode, in a half duplex mode, direction can be reversed the station can transmit and receive the data as well. And this is the diagram for better understanding. We have two computers which is connected using a cable. These two computers are connected and data flow is two directional. Like this computer can send data and this computer can also send the data. This is user 1 or this is user 2. These both devices can interchange the data but not simultaneously. So the message flow in both direction but not at the same time. So the entire bandwidth of the communication channel can be is utilized in one direction at a time. In half duplex mode, it is possible to perform the error detection, and if any error occurs, then the receiver requires the sender to retransmit data. A walkie-talkie is an example of half duplex mode. In walkie-talkie, one party speaks and the another party listens. After a pause, the other speaks and the first party listens. Speaking simultaneously will create the distorted sound which cannot be understood. So in half duplex mode, the walkie-talkie communication system is the example of this transmission mode. So half duplex mode, we can send the data in both ways but not simultaneously. And what are the example of what are the advantages of half duplex mode? Because the main advantage is both the devices can send or receive the data and also can utilize the entire bandwidth of the communication channel during the transmission data. And what is the disadvantage in half duplex mode? When one device is sending the data, the another has to wait. This causes the delay in sending the data at a right time. Because if two devices are connected and they both want to send the data simultaneously, the other devices have to wait. So it creates delay in the network system. So we didn't receive the right data at a right time. For this type of purpose, we use the another transmission mode that is called full duplex mode. In full duplex mode, the transmission can happen both the direction and also can happen simultaneously. We can send the data simultaneously, like like in the chatting system, in the messenger system, we can exchange the messages both ways. The other persons can send the data simultaneously while you are sending the data. So this type of transmission mode is known as full duplex mode. So in half duplex mode, data can be sent both direction but not simultaneously. In simplex mode, we can send the data only in one directional, but in full duplex mode, we can send the data in both direction and also simultaneously. Full duplex mode. We created two systems, two devices, and let's connect with them a cable or any communication medium, any network devices, and the data can be sent both ways and simultaneously. So the transmission of data in both direction also simultaneously. So in full duplex mode, the communication is bidirectional. The data flow in both the direction. Both the stations can send and receive the messages simultaneously, and the data flow is happened with the help of packets. So basically the packets can be transferred both the ways and also simultaneously. In full duplex mode, has two simplex channels. One channel has traffic moving in one direction, and the another channel has traffic flowing in the opposite direction. So full duplex mode is the fastest mode of communication between devices, because the data can be transferred both ways. The most common example of the full duplex mode is a telephone network. When two people are communicating with each other by over the telephone line, both can talk and listen at the same time. So this type of transmission is known as full duplex mode. So what are the advantages of full duplex mode? Both the stations can send and receive the data. And disadvantage, if there is no dedicated path exists between the devices, then the capacity of communication channel is divided into two parts. So mostly in the communication system, we use full duplex mode, but regarding the security or the network type, we also use half duplex or simplex mode as well. So if we compare all these transmission, the full duplex mode is widely used on the network because, as you know, the data can be transferred both ways, and this type of communication we need for our network communication. So this is your three types of transmission media: simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. For creating a network, managing a network, we need all the transmission mode and different types of communication devices for the for transmitting your packets, your network messages, or accessing the internet. Got it? Now, moving on, we understand how network function, how network work. Now we need to assign the addresses as well. We need to assign the IP address and MAC address into your communication devices. So let's understand what are the addresses we have, why we need addresses for the communication. So first, I will tell you why we need addresses in our network system. Why we need to use MAC address or IP address to transfer or to send the data in a network. So first, we have to understand why we need network addresses. So let's create a flow chart and see how network function. So this is a Wi-Fi router from which I access the internet, and using this Wi-Fi router, I connected two devices to my personal devices. One is a computer and the other one is a mobile device. Two devices are connected with a Wi-Fi router, which can be used to transfer the data, and this Wi-Fi device is connected with a wire for using the internet. This is our internet, and internet is provided by ISP. So here is the ISP, and ISP is something a network provider will have this ISP for providing you internet. So for internet communication, we need a ISP. Every network provider have their own ISPs located in various locations. So if you use like Airtel network or Geo network, they have multiple ISPs across the country on different locations, and they have capacity of how much users can be handled at a single time. Like if you want to use the internet and the other persons in your area or in your city or in your state or also want to use the internet, to provide the internet, ISP is the main part. ISP is the main server who provide you the internet and manage all your data, how you visit the website, and provide you all the data, what you will browse, what you will want to download, or what you will want to upload. So ISP is the main thing. So basically ISP is a server. ISP is a internet service provider. Internet service provider. So I'm talking about why we need addresses. So let's suppose this device is want to access Google. This device want to access Google, and this device is want to access Facebook. So they both have connected to internet. They both have internet access. They both have internet access in their systems. So this device is want to use Google, and this device is want to use Facebook. They both generated packets, the data, and the data is handled by this device. All the data device can generate, your computer device or your mobile device. The respective browsing data is handled via this device, and this device further transmit the data on the ISP. Right? So we have this diagram where a computer has entered in the browser a google.com, and in the mobile browser we entered or using Facebook app. All the data is handled by Wi-Fi router, and further Wi-Fi is transmitting the data on the ISP. ISP is now transferred the coming data into the respective servers. So ISP is transferred this data into Google server, or to the Facebook server. FB server. So your packets are transferred to both of your desired server, and this server are also replying with you all the data they have, all the data you asked for. Like if you want a search result, or in the Facebook, if you want to log in account, the data is transmitted via these servers. The Google has its own server, and FB Facebook has its own server. So in the return path, the data is also coming the direction which is receiving. So this data is now coming from ISP, and Google also send the data to the ISP. Now its ISP duty or its ISP functioning to distribute the data to the asking device, asking internet connection. So in this case, the asking device is this connection. This connection is asking the data from Google and Facebook. So it's ISP functionality to transfer back the data to this device. So let's transfer the data to the Wi-Fi router. Now, this Wi-Fi router have both the data from the Google server and from the FB server. Now, if Wi-Fi router is want to send the Google data to this computer and the Facebook data to this computer, how this device or how your Wi-Fi router will understand or how it will differentiate what type of data what Google server is sent and why we need Google data to send back to this device and why this Facebook data is sent to this device. So we need to have some addresses or some identity which Wi-Fi, which this device will understand and transfer the correct data throughout your networking system. So if we give this device like a digit, like I'm giving here a 100 identity, like this device is known as 100 and this device is known as 100, 101. So now when we first created the packet, Wi-Fi will understand what 100 number device will ask and what 101 device will ask. So we have to give some addresses for the network. So here in this diagram, we created two types of communication. One is internal communication, this communication, where your devices is connected with your Wi-Fi device, and other is your device is connected with this devices. So we have two types of communication. One is for ISP and the router, your internet connection, and one is your Wi-Fi device and your home devices. So we have to give some addresses, and also this ISP also need to address that the Google or the Facebook device, Facebook data is sent back on which devices. So it also have an address. So we have two types of identity for communicating a packet or transmitting the data, and these two types of identity is known as addresses. Got it? One is physical address and the other is logical address. One is physical address and the second one we have is logical address. So these both addresses will essential to create a network or communicating via internet. So physical address is used for device identity. It is used for device identity. And logical address is used for network identity. Let's understand this by example. If you have a mobile phone, we have two types of address. One is your SIM, which is your mobile number, and the other one we have is IMEI number. So in the mobile network system, we also have two devices. One is IMEI number, which is your device identity. If your device is lost, it can be tracked via IMEI number. And if you want to call the other person or want to communicate with them, so we need a SIM number, which is called mobile number. So in the mobile communication system, we also have two types of addresses. One is for device identity and the other one is for network identity. So in the internet connection or in the computer system, in the computer network, we also have two types of addresses. One is for device identity. If you purchase a computer, if you purchase a mobile, if you want to build a network, you have a physical address, which is directly your NIC. In the previously, we talked about NIC, network interface card. So we have installed this chip in our devices, in our computer system, and this will be the main part to connect the other systems or connect with the network. So this address is known as physical address. The NIC address is known as physical address and also known as MAC address. So basically, MAC address is something for device identity. If we use 10 devices in a network, we have 10 MAC addresses, 10 different MAC addresses to communicate in the network. And if we use a internet connection, so we also have a network identity which will be provided by your connecting ISP. Like if you use a geo network connection, the logical address will be provided by geo ISP server. And if you use Airtel connection, the logical address will be provided by Airtel ISP. So logical address will be dynamic address which will be changed upon the internet connectivity. Like if you are using some address for today, and if you shut down your network and connect back tomorrow, the logical address will be changed. It will be assigned by your network, by your ISP, so it will be changed. But your physical address, your MAC address will not change. It will unique. It will come when you purchase a laptop, or you buy a laptop, you buy a computer network, or you buy computer devices. So we need both the addresses to communicate with the other systems, or communicate the other systems via internet. Like if you want to share the data in our internal network as well, we need those two types of addresses. One is for device identity and one is for network identity. So both the addresses is compulsory in a network system. Got it? So this logical address is known as IP address. IP is internet protocol. Internet protocol. So we have MAC addresses for the device identity, and for the network identity, we have internet protocol known as IP address. IP address is provided by ISP. ISP is internet service provider, which you are connecting, which you are obtaining your internet connection. ISPs have different servers located in different areas. The internet from which company you are using your internet, the ISP server is providing IP addresses. So IP address is also unique. Like if you are using some address at this point, the IP address you are using is unique. No one is using this address on the same time. Also, MAC address is also unique because it comes with the device address. So no one in the world also use this MAC address at the same time. If you want to change the MAC address, we need to change the NIC card, which is a hardware. And if we want to change the IP address of our network, we need to discontinue our internet or connect back again. So the ISP will assign a new address for your network. Got it? So let's understand some more about MAC addresses and the IP addresses. So MAC address, now we need to understand how MAC address appear on your system and how you will check this MAC address. So in previously I will discuss that the MAC addresses has also 5 unique names. 5 other aspects of this address are known as like physical address. These are the additional names of this MAC address: physical address, network address, hardware address, and one is BIA, burned in address. So these are all the names of MAC address, and MAC address is uniquely identifies each devices on the given network to make communication between two network devices. So we need 2 addresses. One is for IP and one is MAC address. So MAC address is assigned to your NIC. NIC is network interface card. If you want to more about network interface card, you need to attend the session of day 2. So you will watch this day 2 video and you will understand what network interface card is. So each devices have network interface card. So each device will automatically have MAC addresses. If you want to understand what type of MAC address is represented, so MAC addresses is represented in the hexadecimal form. Hexadecimal form. So also the size of MAC address is 48-bit. It is a 48-bit long addresses and represented in your computer system in the hexadecimal form. So if I want to a dummy MAC address, so it is something like this. Because we use hexadecimal format, so it is the combination of 0 to 9 and A to F. So this is your MAC address. In this MAC address, it is also divided into two parts. This is your 48-bit long address, which will be given when you purchase or when you buy a laptop. So it is the address of your network interface card. If your system has two network interface system or two NICs or multiple NICs, you have multiple MAC addresses in your system. It is a 48-bit long address represented in hexadecimal form. Also in this 48-bit, these 24-bit are represented the OUI. This is represented OUI. Which company built your NIC? We can check with these 24-bit address. This 24-bit address will tell you what is the company name which designed your NICs. So here I am writing some of the company name and their 40-bit address. Understand like this: if you use Airtel mobile number, the first 5 digits are the same for every user. They use a range which will be distributed among all the users. So in mobile number, we have starting 5 digits are the same for all the users. And if you use another company, the starting 5 digits are using another range. So in computer network, NICs have also these 24-bit address represented for OUI. So some example of OUI or the vendor is, if your MAC address is represented like this, like CC46.D6, it means your NIC is designed by Cisco. Cisco is a company name which designed your MAC address or which built your NIC. And if your MAC address's first initial 4 bits is 3C, 5A, B4, then your NIC is designed by Google. If your MAC address first 24 digits is something like this, then your MAC address is designed by HP. So these are some common vendors. So while reading your first initial 24 bits, you can understand which vendor designed your internet. Which vendor designed your NIC. Got it? So the representation of MAC address is separated by colon. You can use hyphen as well to separate the value. 1 hexadecimal bit is for 4 bits. So we have total 12 bits in our MAC addresses. So here are some more stats. 1 hexadecimal is 4 bits, and in 1 octet. So what are the octets are? This one box is called octet. the whole box is called octet. So in one octet, we have 8 bit. One octet, we have 8 bit. That means we have 2 hexa digit. And in the full length, we have total 48 bit. That means we have 12 hexa digit in our MAC addresses. Hope you understand this. Let's talk about the other address, which is known as IP address. So IP address is known as Internet Protocol, and protocols means rules. The rules used for communicating your network, the rules are designed for the devices to use a network are known as protocols. So for communicating internet, we have a internet protocol. So protocols means set of rules which will be used to communicate or spread or transmit the data you want to in your home network or in your internet connection. So IP address basically a unique address that will be assigned any device on the internet or any network from the other. IP or internet protocol defines the set of commands directing the setup of data transferred through the internet or any other local network. So we need to use this address for communicating via internet. So if you are using internet, you have a IP address. So if you want to check your IP address, you need to visit this website, whatismyipaddress.com. So if you visit this website, you will know what is your IP address. So I will show you. What is my IP address? If you visit this website, you will get your IP address. So here is my IP address. As you can see, this is my IP address, IP version 6. We have two versions in IP address, version 4 and version 6. I am using Bharti Airtel network connection. So the Airtel is using IPv6 protocol. So we don't have IPv4. But if you are using Geo or any other communication or private network services, you will have IPv4. So you can check your addresses, your IP address. And if I discontinue my internet right now and connecting back after some time, this address will change because it will assign to me for a particular time. When I start a network, when I connect a network, this IP is assigned via the ISP. And when I disconnect, this IP is taken back by the ISP. Got it? And you can check the other information as well, like what is the ISP is known as Bharti Airtel Limited, and the city Delhi, region Delhi, and country India. So I am here right now. I am sitting in the Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I am using the network connection. ISP of Delhi location. So my internet connection is coming from the Delhi location. So basically the ISP located in Jaipur is overloaded or not available to provide me the internet. So the Airtel ISP is fetching my request to the Delhi location. Right? And if you have some IP address and you want to check what is the location or what is the ISP server you are using, so you can use this website's tool here, IP lookup. Here you can enter your IP address and you will get the desired information. Get IP details, click on get IP details, and you will get your address information like this. So this is my IP address detail. I'm using this address. ASN is 24560. ISP name is Bharti Airtel, country India, and this is the location of our ISP. So if you want to check the IP address location, the IP you have, and if you want to check where which is the location you are accessing, which is the location you are connecting, so you can use this website's tool IP lookup. You use this website name is whatismyipaddress.com. Moving on. So if you want to check our address, we use this website. Now let's understand IP. So basically IP has two versions. One is version 4, IPv4, and the other is IP version 6. So initially, when the internet came in existence, only version 4 is created, and when the combinations of IP version 4 is shorted, then the INA, which is reliable for distributing IPs all over the world, is created the version IP version 6. So right now we are using mostly IP version 6 IPs, and some of the network providers are also used IP version 4 as well. So let's understand what is version 4. Version 4. So this is a 32-bit address, and it is represented in the binary form. Right? It is represented in the binary form, and we have 4 octets to store the IP address in our computer. So one octet have 8-bit of addresses in our system. Total we have 32-bit. So like this is a IP. This is 8-bit. Then we separated the octet. 8-bit again. This is a IP address, and this is IPv4 because we use 30-bit combination. So this is a dummy IP address which will be provided by the ISP. And for the representation, I use binary. But if you convert this number to the decimal format, you will got. If you exchange this binary form to the decimal, you will got 255. So for the other octets, we got 255 as well. So this is the last range of IPv4. This is the last range of IPv4 address. IPv4 cannot be 256.256 because, see, if we use 8-bit address in one octet, this is the last maximum range we use in 8-bit. If we extend this range, the bit form is crossed, the length is crossed, so we don't have any 256 or any 257 or so on. So we have the IP address from 1 to 255. So this is the IP address last range, IPv4. In case of IPv4, this is the last range. This is the last range of IPv4. So what is the starting range? So starting range will be this. This is a starting range in IP version 4. So we have combinations of like this. So if I want to create some combinations, so this is one IP. So how this will proceed? 0.0.1, 0.0.2. So this box will continue with 255. When this octet is filled, the value is transferred from fourth octet to the third octet. So if this octet is filled with last range, so the value is transferred from this to this. So the next range we have is 0.0.1.0. Then the other combinations will continue. So we have total combinations of from this. So we have multiple combinations. So when the internet is created, we only use IP version 4 addresses. Every service provider need to buy some combinations to giving the IPs to the users they have. So in our country, Airtel has the maximum combinations, maximum IPs to provide the internet. Got it? So in version 4, this range will divide into 5 parts. And these parts are known as IP classes. So in version 4, we have 5 types of IP classes, and these classes are used to distribute the network. 5 classes in IP version 4. Class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. So the total range is divided into 5 parts, and the 5 parts is known as IP classes. So for the region part, like in Asian countries, we use class C addresses. In Latin America, we use class A addresses. So for the region part, this total range is divided into 5 classes, and the ranges are: class A range is the start with the 1.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. For class B, we use the range of 1.128.0.0.0, and this will continue with the 191.255.255.255. For class C, we use 192.0.0.0, and the finishing range is this. For class D, we use 224.0.0.0 to 39. And for class E, we use 240.0.0.0 255, the last range. So for the public use, we only use these 3 classes. Class A to C are used for publicly, and class D is multicast address, which will not use in for our daily communication. Multicast address. And class E is also not used because it is reserved for future use. In future, if we sorted by the IPs, by the combinations, we use these classes. So it is reserved for future use. So in our network recently, for the time internet is created, from the time past to present, we use all these 3 classes. We use the combination of these 3 classes only. So in IP, we have IP version 4. Version 4 is divided into 5 parts. The total range is 0.0.0.0 to 55.255.255.255, and this range will divide it into 5 parts, and these parts are used for our network communication. So hope you understand this. I will wrap up this here for today. Tomorrow we'll be discussing some more things about IP address, like in a private network or in a public network, what type of range you will use to define a network, to distribute a network. So tomorrow you will also join, because tomorrow session is also very important, and we will know about how network will created, how subnetting is created. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Sumit. So, I hope today's session was very, very interesting and lots of technical insight you got. So, if anybody is having any doubt, please ask your question in the chat so that Sumit can answer your queries. And if you have no question, then if you can share some feedback in the chat or in the Telegram group, that would be highly appreciated. So I just request everybody, please share your feedback positively in the Telegram group so that it will give us some support and it will surely motivate Sumit to do more and more good work for you as a community. Yeah, please join the channel as well. So Sumit's channel name is the Cybersecurity Zone. So follow that. He's just creating crisp videos, which are targeted for particular topic. So if you follow that, so you will be getting enough insights. Okay, Sumit. So I don't see there is much question. So maybe they will be watching this session one more time so that they can understand, and maybe in future sessions they will be asking doubts.
So guys, from day 6 or tomorrow, we will be starting our setting our lab. So you have to be there to attend to understand how these softwares will installed in your system. So you need only
Yeah, I'm just
you,
sharing.
you,
I'm just sharing.
you will need you will need your operating system. If you are using Microsoft operating system Windows, no issue. And if you are using Linux based operating system, there is no issue as well.
Yeah, so couple of people appreciated our efforts. So Sumit, you can just read good feedback. So like
Thank you everyone for this appreciation. This will surely motivate me to deliver some more interesting talks or the uh, things I have created, I have understand in all these years. So surely it will be motivate for me.
okay, guys. So please share this feedback in the Telegram group as well, because in that group we have more than 400 folks, and I know many folks can't join sessions live, but I can see like last 3 sessions we got near around 1000 views. So people are appreciating our efforts, and Sumit is delivering content in a good manner, and everything is planned properly. So you can just go through the session tracker. Let me just show you that as well. So anytime if you have any doubt, like what we'll be discussing in upcoming session, so you can just open the session tracker, and here you will find everything that is needed. So in this session tracker, all the topics are listed. Like today, Sumit covered addressing system and MAC address, IP subnetting. So we'll be updating that as well. And like from day 6, practicals will be there. So it will be more and more interesting. So do join and share your feedback, share the channel, both the channel links with everybody, those who are interested to build their career either in Salesforce or Salesforce cybersecurity or only cybersecurity, right? Okay, so with that note, we'll take your leave. Thank you everybody for joining today's session. Thank you so much.